Welcome to Inspired by Design, the podcast where we explore the tools, stories, and insights to help you rediscover your authentic self and navigate life with less resistance. I'm Katie Rupert, a former hustle and grind overachiever on a thrilling and messy journey. I'd love to share what I'm learning and help others in self-discovery using human design. So, if you're seeking a way to move forward, let me be your weekly mindset coach and share stories to inspire you to action towards your unique purpose without the force or burnout.
First things first, it's time for our giveaway. For the 1-year anniversary of this podcast, I'm giving away a human design connection chart session. So if you did a reading with me, if you stopped by my booth at the Holistic Vendor Fair, if you replied to my email, if you commented on my TikTok or my Instagram or whatever, your name is in here. Some of you have lots of entries. And so I am going to see who our winner is right now live on the pod. And I'm sharing my screen if you're on YouTube, but I'll let you know who it is. Oh, here it comes. All right, it's Trisha S. Trisha, thank you so much. So Trisha bought a connection chart reading at the vendor event, and she is a loyal listener. She's going to be one of the first people to know. I don't even think I'm going to tell her because I know she's going to listen to this and get excited. So Trisha, thank you so much for all of your support, all of your encouragement, all of the ways that you, like, she even texts me sometimes when she likes an episode. So I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so glad you won that connection chart reading. So you could do that with a gift it to someone, or you could do it with a coworker. You could use it for you and a kid or anything like that, or just another reading from me if you don't need a connection chart reading. So awesome. Thank you guys so much for being part of it. Hey, welcome to season 2. It's exciting. I was trying to decide, like, oh, should I do something special for season 2? Like, should I have a new topic? Should I have a new shtick? And the answer I came up with was, Katie, don't overthink it, because whenever there's a should or a have to or some kind of pressure, I know within my design, that does not ever feel good. And I'll tell you, this week has been an interesting week. I've done a lot of quiet time. All right. Quiet time, so much that old Katie, old Katie, old version, she would not have been able to sit in the quiet. And what's funny is the reason I've needed so much quiet time is because old versions of myself have popped up in my mind. And I'm a mental stimulation person. I want to talk. I want to go deep. I want to have these deep conversations and think about the world and how we're created and how we're designed and wired. I am all in for a deep, long conversation, and I can play with the best of them. Even if I don't know what I'm talking about, I am still all for it. And yet, one of the downfalls is that overthinking, overconsumption, in so much that I lose connection with what's the plot here? What is it that I'm going for? And what happens when you lose the plot of your purpose, of your mission, of why you're doing what you're doing, why you're talking about what you're talking about? What happens? Well, I'll tell you, it's overwhelm. It's overwhelm, and typically overwhelm is just a nervous system issue. It's not a time management problem. It's not a I didn't do what I was supposed to do problem. It's a circumstance. It's an emotion that happens when our nervous system is freaking out. So this can happen in all sorts of ways. But when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, I was thinking about my week. I was thinking about kind of what I've done. And even just today, I woke up and just kind of felt blah. And what's funny about that is the human design transit right now, for just in the sky, everyone is getting this emotional authority. So we have a solar plexus activation. You don't have to know what that means, but I'll tell you, it means that if you do not have an emotional authority in your human design chart, you've got some new energy going on. And that is very true for me. So this week I have both the ego center and the solar plexus activated in my transit chart. And I've noticed a little more sensitivity, a little more emotion, a little more lack of clarity, if you will. And I feel it that we had a whole bunch of stuff going on with like astrology as well. I won't even get into that, but I've been doing a lot of contemplation and journaling, like how am I feeling? What am I feeling like really? And one astrologer gave the advice of like, just be really present with how you're feeling and with your body this week. And I opened up my planner and I had written that down, and I read it at just the right moment because I was overwhelmed and feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I even doing? Feeling old scripts running in my mental. All right. My mind was saying, you don't have enough. You are not enough. You shouldn't. You can't. Who do you think you are? And it's these generic, no fun scripts that ran my life for most of my life. It's what I leaned on for my motivation to act. And so all growing up, and at no fault of anyone, right? We're really smart people. Our brains work. And for survival, my mind would say, Katie, get up off your butt and work out, or you're going to be fat. Katie, you are not good enough at XYZ. So go and practice. Go get help. Go ask someone else. Quit or push through. You got to stay up all night, whatever it was. And that created a really high achieving woman who had a lot of things I could say were successful, but someone who was scared, someone who lived her life in fear and overwhelm, even confusion, because I didn't know if I was okay because no one told me if I was okay. Now, these are scripts that have popped up today, this week, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not disappearing. But what has changed for me when it comes to overwhelm, when it comes to understanding that overwhelm is just this subtle little like, hey, Katie, your nervous system is carrying something that it is meant to flow through and not hold on to. And the difference for me now is that I have, through survival mode, through being at the end of my rope, through being burnt out, I took action in a new way. So for most of my life, I did get stuck in trying the same things, getting a little relief, and then going right back to it. And they say, what is it? What's the quote? It's like, if you keep doing the same things, that's the definition of insanity. Well, I did change some things up, and it was hard. It was hard. It didn't feel good doing it. And I did a little bit of blowing up my life. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about, now that I have a better perspective from doing it the hard way, doing it as a life journey, and I'm still on the journey, by the way, very passionate now about like lightening your load can make such a difference. You don't necessarily have to blow up your life. And that's where human design comes in. That's where Reiki and yoga and meditation. And, for me, I started using muscle testing, using a pendulum. That's my favorite tool, if you will. And then I have so many tools in my tool belt that I was interested in and developed on my own for myself. And then now that I know my human design type, I know that I'm really meant to be a problem solver. And then whatever I respond with a full bodied, yeah, that's the one. When it comes to what problems I want to solve, that's the one that I'm meant to help people with, because it's not all about me. I have to learn the lesson in order to help others with it. But I don't have to be perfect at it, which is another one of those old version OG scripts that I had. Like, if you're not perfect, you can't help others. Or looking to others to be perfect. I've been, searching for the perfect role model my whole life, even though I can tell you logically and consciously that perfection doesn't exist, nobody's perfect, blah, blah, blah. And yet I could still behave in a way that was looking for perfection or looking for perfection in others, which is always disappointing, right? And then self-sabotaging. So here's what I'm trying to communicate, I think, is I have decided that one of the core things that I'm here to help other people with is how to lighten their load of overwhelm, guilt, shame, not feeling worthy. These feelings that I struggle with and struggled with my whole life. And I have found that the solution is not fixing, but acknowledging and allowing, and then taking little tiny fresh actions to start moving into feeling better. And so that's the problem that I want to solve. I've tried to solve this problem with so many different, quote unquote solutions that were outside of myself, like looking for validation from other people, looking for, for the longest time, I just thought it was a time management problem. If I can force myself to do what I said I would do and logically prioritize things, and then really have a good time management system of just consistently showing up every single day and doing this X number of work. So it's like all external. I could figure it out. And, at the end of the day, the biggest, I have all these tools that do help and support, but at the end of the day, one of the things that is like the core value of this is the answer. It's not a simple thing, but it is like understanding that overwhelm is just a symptom of something your body and the wisdom inside of your body is trying to tell you. And so I'm here to help others figure this out. And it's not something I can just tell you, like you just got the answer. But until you experience it and you suss it out to figure out how does it work for me, and what are my triggers, and what are the things that are making me feel overwhelmed. And it's just a little more subtle, and it is an inside job, just like most things. It's all internal. I'll tell you, the last couple of weeks, I've had 2 readings that I want to tell you about. The first one was with a fellow human design reader. Okay. Someone who knew a ton, maybe probably a lot more than I do about human design. And when he said he wanted a reading, I was like, what? You know all the things. He's like, yeah, but that fresh perspective, and shared a little bit about what he was looking for. And I was in my head as I was preparing it. I was like, he already is going to know all of this stuff. But I got a little overwhelmed right in my head about it. And in that moment, I was like, okay, I have to just show up as me, just pretend he doesn't know. Because it was hindering me from showing up authentically when I was overwhelmed. So I knew, okay, overwhelm is becoming a problem because it's a symptom of my nervous system, of something else that's going on. Probably, in hindsight, just feeling a little unworthy, not good enough, whatever that open heart center that I've got. So I do this reading a few times. I was able to get into my, here's how I explain this. And for this particular person, they are meant to respond as their strategy, to respond and inform. And so I just kind of gave my same old examples, like, which pen do you want to use? Let's respond to that. Let's respond to our to-do list with which one is a, heck yes, or which one's going to make me feel satisfied. So that was his strategy. It's my strategy too. And I don't know, at some point he said, like, almost like laughing, he's like, it's just the basics. That's what I needed. And when I think about like what I have to offer when it comes to lightening your load without blowing up your life, which is kind of my tagline, right? I'm always going to bring you back to the basics. And I really feel it's important, and I genuinely care more about you trying out your strategy like it's a dress and seeing, like, does it serve you or not, than I do about you knowing what your life theme is. When you come to my yoga class, I could care less if you can do any of the poses. If you're showing up there and you're trying to breathe and you're trying to be present, and every time that you decide I'm not being present anymore, I'm thinking about something else, but then you decide I'm going to come back to this moment and see if I can do it, like that effort of showing up for yourself, messy, and showing up for yourself in practice, this is what I'm passionate about helping people do. Because for so long, I was the same way. I wanted to do it right. I wanted to do it perfectly. I wanted to do it like I wanted the real answer, the right answer. You tell me, nothing's gone wrong here. You're overwhelmed. Great. That's your body telling you something needs attention. So I am the person that I hated to hear when I was in the overwhelm. So I'm like, it doesn't feel that simple. It feels like life or death. And that's my point. Sometimes overwhelm is really hard because it's your nervous system saying, I'm not safe. Something's up. And then we have these feelings pop up. And if you're not emotional like me, or you were trained up to be a giver to other people, and your emotions could potentially be a burden on someone else, it's not easy to allow those things. And I will tell you that whenever I get overwhelmed, so I can just take this week, for example, whenever I get overwhelmed, I want to hide. I want to like take the time and do the work and use all my tools. But at the same time, my mind is like, you don't have time for this. You already did this. You were overwhelmed yesterday and had to take care of yourself. You don't deserve more time on this. You got to get stuff done. And this is like an unfixable problem if you're looking for a fix that's going to be long-term, a fix that's going to keep you from overwhelm in the future. What I'm learning is that's not what it's about. It's more about noticing it and humbling yourself to just do the little things that don't blow up your life. So that was the first one, is just the aha of someone that already knew way too much about human design, right? That missing the plot of, oh yeah, I just need to feel good in my body because that's how I'm designed. So if I'm not feeling good, that's a sign that I need to go respond to some stuff until I find something I feel good doing. Because when a generator, manifesting generator, feels good in their body, they have energy. And when they have energy, they can get the stuff done. They feel safe. They feel like they can conquer the world. But you have to go respond to life until you get it, and you can't force it. And that is the conundrum. The other reading that I was going to tell you about, I had one with someone that hadn't had a reading before. And when I got done with the reading, she said, you said so many things that I needed to hear. It was like, how do you know my life? Are you in my life? And literally all I did was the very basic stuff. All I did was say the very basic thing, like, hey, we got to respond to life. You got to work towards satisfaction. When you feel frustrated, that's your timeout. So this was another generator. So I think those two really stand out to me because, like, I'll just take today, for example. I woke up today, I was irritable. And when I'm angry, that means that's another red flag for me as a manifesting generator. Frustration and anger, those are your like timeout, stop, go respond to life. All right. And inform. And so, oh, I just had an epiphany. Like, I've done all this work and I'm informing you. You're the second part of my strategy is to tell you about it. Right. Oh, I love that. Okay. So I was feeling irritable. I was like, what is wrong with me? You were feeling funky already this week. Like, let's not, the script in the mind is going. And so I was like, okay, maybe I need to feed my physical body. So I drank a glass of water. All right. And then I use this AO scanner, which if you're not sure what that is, it's a scanner that uses my voice to find emotions, and it also is attached to like my supplements and my biofield and everything. So it'll tell me like what supplements to take, and it also gives me music to listen to that day that's custom to the emotions that are imbalanced in my body. So I did that scan and I took the supplements it told me to take. And then I had some fruit and yogurt or something. And I was trying to like move slow. I was supposed to, quote unquote, I'd signed up to go to a networking meeting, and I could tell in my body, like, that is a absolute no-go. My body does not want to go to that. Even though I know when I get there, and usually when I'm there, I'm having so much fun. I'm like, I have nothing to give. I don't want to talk to anyone. I just need to be alone. Even though there were plenty of reasons for me to feel guilty and wrong, and I should do this. I know better now that when I feel the way that I did, that I've got to stop and I've got to respond. And it wasn't happening naturally. It wasn't happening with the water or the breakfast. And so I sat down, I took a few breaths, I ate the breakfast, and I was like, well, this isn't serving me. So I went upstairs and I was like, maybe I just started looking for the tools that were going to make me tune in, because I have made the switch from I need to fix this. I don't want to feel this. Let's get rid of these feelings to, okay, I see that I feel this way. And even though my mind says you don't have time for this and you shouldn't, and this is stupid, Katie, you shouldn't feel this way. There's no logical reason for it. My body's wiser. It needed something. So I sit in my chair and I'm like, I'm supposed to respond, right? So when I am overwhelmed, I can't really come up with what to respond to. And so for my clients that do readings with me, I'll say something like, go walk to the mailbox, go walk down the street, go walk around your house, open the pantry, and just ask yourself, do you need food? Just like literally like super small little things. Well, I had my journal and I was able just to write some stuff. And so I thought, okay, I need to respond, but I really don't feel like walking around. So what could I do? So I made a list of options in my journal. I have it right here. So here's my list. I could do tapping. I could meditate. I could do yoga. I could work on email replies. I don't know why that one's in there. I could do the emotion code and body code. I could pull a card and ask for spirit guidance. I could go to the spa and float. I could use a PEMF mat. I could do my AO scanner again and do something more specific. Okay, so you get the idea. I started listing out the things that I have access to right now, even though I didn't feel like doing them at the time. I just listed them out. And then I said, do I want to do the body code? Do I want to do this? And I think what I ended up doing was grabbing my yoga mat, and I did like downward dog. And then I was like, ooh, I want to pull a card from my pretty tarot deck. And then so I did that. And then, oh my gosh, I felt the switch. So it felt blind, but looking back on this morning, I was listening to the next right step. Like the idea of like, oh, I can go grab my yoga mat. When I grabbed my yoga mat, this is what I think happened. Who knows? But when I went to grab my yoga mat, which was across the hall, I looked on my like couch Betty thing in my office, and I saw my tarot card deck. And then, so I grabbed my yoga mat because that was my mission. I went and I did a few downward dogs, and then I was actually responding to wanting to pull the tarot deck cards. That wasn't on my list here, but when I saw them, because I went and got the yoga mat, I saw the tarot deck. So this is the life of a manifesting generator. It's just the next right step that you get. So when I pulled the cards, I had a very rich experience. And it was soothing and it was comforting. And all of the overwhelm that I had put myself through the night before and this morning, or that my body was giving me, I wasn't putting myself through it. When I saw these cards, I looked at them. I had 4 cards drop out. Let me see if I can remember. The pictures are more helpful than what they actually were. But one of them was a girl dancing with a baton. One of them was a gal that was on stage with a microphone. One of them was a woman who was half lion, half woman, and she had a lamb resting beside her. And one of them was a woman who was pregnant, but the pregnant belly was a globe, and there was nature all around her. And who knows why these things work. But what that did for me, I looked at those cards and I thought, oh my goodness, I am all 4 of these women. And I don't know the meaning of tarot. I don't do tarot for other people. I'm just curious about it. But I did see myself in each of those, like someone who loves to have fun, someone who loves to perform, someone who is strong and brave, but has a value of finding peace overall, and someone who really cares for her people and wants to nurture the world and be in nature. Now, these 4 women depicted on the card, if I was one of them, I would be proud. But when I saw them, and I was like, I am all 4 of these women. And I'm so grateful. And then I read the messages, and I mean, it was, as always, spot on, right? Exactly what I needed to hear is celebrate my wins and share about what I'm learning, share about what I'm interested in, stay calm in the face of uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty in my life right now. Bring peace into my situation. Care for myself so much that it cares for others. Because when I take care of myself, like, my kids don't have to worry about me. And one of the questions was like, what is it that I'm ready to give birth to? And it's just like my personal authority, my personal abundance, like who I am out loud, which has been what I'm doing already. And so, through this overwhelm, this nervous system deregulation, this like having to humble myself down to someone who knows a lot of stuff and I know the answer. One of my friends asked, do you know why you're overwhelmed and stressed? And I said, yeah, fear and self-doubt. I know, I know the answer. But what I'm here for is to learn how to navigate my life and still show up to my life when those things are happening. And my strategy as a manifesting generator, because I choose to look through the lens of human design, like that is the tool that I'm acting and doing the things with integrity, right? And it was just really profound for me because I had to go back to the basics again. And a lot of the script in my OG mind says, if you have to go back to the start again and again and again, you're doing something wrong. But that is what you have to be willing to do. At the end of the day, it's always about, if I'm designed to respond to life and then inform, then by all means, let's lighten the load by responding and informing. And that's a generator is meant to respond. Give yourself a list of options, go walk around, wait till your body responds to like, oh, that's what I want. And then even if it doesn't make sense, you move towards that. And something energetic can happen, like, oh, I moved towards the yoga mat, and that led me to the tarot cards, that led me to the epiphany that I had about who I am and all of the capabilities I have, and remembering I am much stronger than someone who is overwhelmed. That's not my identity. My identity are these other people that like I embody when I am living in alignment. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So just for kicks, God, I thought this was going to be like a 3-minute episode, and I started talking, and here we are. So as a generator, it's to respond. As a manifesting generator, it's to respond. And then you tell people about, what you're loving, what you're doing, what you're responding to. All right. As a manifester, you're going to inform, you're going to initiate whatever it is that you're trailblazing. And then you're going to tell people what you're doing, not ask permission. As a projector, you're going to wait to be invited to improve something, to make something more successful, to guide. And you'll have to listen to the projector episode because that was not good enough to take action. But basically don't use your energy until you've been invited in to use it. All right. So you need to preserve your energy. And then as a reflector, just to feel really good in your environment and just wait until you have that clarity and you feel really good. So, and take it slow. At the end of the day, if you use your strategy and then of course your authority, for me, it's a gut response. Like if it's a heck yes, then I do it, even if it doesn't make sense. So for me today, that was grabbing the yoga mat, getting the tarot cards. And after that, I felt more peace in my body. So I'm going to tell you the rest of the story of the day, more peace in my body, but also thinking about going and doing my normal day at this point, my normal day being like sit down, correspondence, email, planning, reaching out to clients, these sorts of things. That wasn't an option for me. That was not something I could respond and feel good about. So I was like, okay, well, what's next? And so as I went back to the list, I was like, I'm going to go take care of my body because this whole process of being overwhelmed, my nervous system is a little shooken up. I always write when I feel that way, I'm like, I'm in shook up snow globe mode. So I always think of my nervous system. I don't know where I got that. It may have been from another like mentor or something. I feel like it was a woman's voice. Anyway, like shake up your nervous system like a snow globe. And then that snow has to settle. Right. So I did a float over at Serenity Now Float Spa. I laid on the PEMF mat there and did some red light therapy. And when I came out of that, I ate some healthy food. And then I got really, really into some training I was doing, writing some notes. So I basically got to work after that because I had fueled myself up. And that's how it's supposed to work. That's how it's supposed to work. And I didn't blow up my life in one day listening to that. Now, it does get annoying when like you think you're doing the thing and then it happens again and again and again. But you know what? This week for me, I kind of just, there's a lot of stuff going on in my life and maybe I just need this extra support. I don't know, but being willing to trust that it's all going to work out. And all I have to do is that respond and inform, and then it's going to take care of me. It hasn't done me wrong yet. Anyway, I hope that encouraged you. I'm glad I got to share it, but it really wasn't what I anticipated talking about today. So let me see if I can wrap this up in a cohesive way. And if not, you don't mind, I'm sure. Overwhelm. This is something that I want to help people with. Okay, that was one thing. Also, overwhelm is a symptom of something else that your body's trying to tell you. And we have really, really intelligently designed bodies and spirits, and we're not alone. You can, and this was my story, and so I imagine a lot of people listening, you can be very high achieving, successful, and still feel behind, burnt out. You can have everything you want. You can accomplish the things and not feel satisfied. You can be in survival mode. And then whenever you start taking care of yourself, your body freaks out and is a snow globe then too, because it's not the same. There's a whole nother bag of worms, can of worms, right? Oh, well. And then I guess I ended up talking quite a bit about your human design strategy being one way that you can navigate. So it's not about doing the right things. It's about using your strategy to make sure that you are in alignment for how you're meant to be wired. And most of my examples today surrounded around generators and manifesting generators. So I think that's it. Congrats again to Trisha for winning our connection chart reading, or any reading of your choice, since I know you already purchased a connection chart. I have some things coming up. I will be partnering with the Chakra Healing Room to do some local workshops. And then I do have a workshop that I really want to, I feel like it's such a good workshop, and I want to fill it up with people that are interested. So I'm trying to get the word out about it. So if you are someone you know is interested in human design or yoga, or even better, if you're interested in human design and yoga, and I don't care what your excuses are, I can't, I'm not flexible, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm doing a workshop at Detox Yoga in Winsville. The room will not be heated. If that's your problem. Don't want to come to my hot classes, that's fine. This is a non-heated class on Friday the 27th. It's at 6:30 p.m. It's $40, all right? Which I for my mini readings, I charge $56. You're going to get a lot more value for coming to a 2-hour workshop than $40. So basically what I'm going to do is spend the first hour or so talking about human design, the strategy, the authority, what yours is specifically. So everybody that registers for the class, I'm going to get their birthday, I'll run their chart, and I'll have a little printout for them so that you have some takeaway notes. We're going to talk about it, discuss, and then I'm going to talk about how you can use that in a yoga practice. And then if you don't have a yoga practice, it's beginner level, right? So it could be your first introduction to yoga, and it's still, I feel like you're going to like it, or it's going to be valuable for you at least. So I'll talk about, if you're a generator and you're in a yoga class, or you're wanting to practice yoga, here are some things you could do. Or if you are a projector and you're in a yoga class, you might take the instructor's suggestions, cues, as invitations, and then you get to have autonomy to decide if you're going to do those invitations or not, if you feel like doing them, right? So that's the gist of it. I think it's going to be really cool. I think there's like 10 spaces left, so there's plenty of room. You do need to sign up on MindBody. If you have trouble with that, just, send me an email or something. I'm sure I can help you. And then what else do I want to tell you? I'm really interested in knowing what your questions are for me as a human design reader, as a Katie, as a person who is trying to apply what she teaches. And so if you have questions pop up, or if you're curious about something, you don't know if it's a good enough question, just ask the question. I'm sure it would make for a very rich conversation, and I will answer those on the podcast. Make sure you check out the show notes, because I've got some other things going on, booking sessions with corporate for both yoga and human design. I've got an enchanted tea party coming up on April 12th. There's only 50 tickets for that. And I'm sure some of them have been sold. I haven't checked this week. But if that is of interest to you, this is going to be a really cool event. There's like sound, there's human design, there's astrology, there's like, it's for women, and it's about springing into the year, like that spring equinox, stepping into who you are for this year, being aligned, having women and community. It's just going to be good. So just check out the show notes. I'll make sure to update those. I do have a website now. You can click on the website, how fun. Or my link tree has like my free downloads and stuff like that. I'll put a question out on Friday with this episode in the Inspired by Design with Katie Rupert Facebook page. I would love your comments and questions there as well. All right. Until next week.
Thanks for tuning in to Inspired by Design with Katie Rupert. If today's episode sparked something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Share your takeaways, subscribe, or even leave a review to help others find the show. For more tools and insights, visit my free Facebook group. And until next time, keep embracing exactly who you are and move forward one inspired action at a time.